Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvaldo Grim here and welcome to yet another video, and in this video we are going to talk about how to gradually upgrade your roster. This is not a video about to get the highest threat possible, because threat is an irrelevant number, but by using this strategy you will also get threat the faster way in my opinion, but let's get that out of the way. Threat is not relevant, but how good your characters are is relevant. So today we are going to take a look on simply how to upgrade your roster, what to spend your money on, what to spend your gear and materials on. Since as we know, a character is going to have a few things that you can invest in, 4 to be exact. It's going to have abilities, it's going to have gears, and it's going to have talents, and lastly is going to have experience. So in this video we are going to go through with each and every one of them, and we are going to talk about what is the most optimal path for you to take in order to have the best experience in the game in terms of both arena and raids. Before we get into this, make sure that if you like this video and if you find it helpful, you go ahead and subscribe, because I really appreciate the support. And if you have any questions, please don't forget to feel free to ask them down in the comments, since I do read all comments and I answer as many questions as I can. So far all of them, maybe in the future I don't know, but we will see. Also, if you got a suggestion for a future video, I would be more than glad to see it, and I will do it in the future if I find it fitting and interesting to most people, but you just need to be patient with it. But nevertheless, write your suggestions down in the comments. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, let's get out of the way the talent problem, because many people want to have perfect talents from the very beginning of the game, but they don't understand the fact that talents are very expensive. I have made a video on which I explain how to reroll talents, but that doesn't really mean you should. It's just a how to, and now I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't reroll talents as a new player. For example, this is my King Latent's Aquaman, and he's going to have a crit damage build. A crit damage build requires him to have in his talents crit damage and crit chance. There should be no defense there, even though it's helpful for now. And I could go ahead and waste all the credits I have in trying to change that talent, but I'm not going to do that, because if I'm very lucky, if I'm extremely lucky, actually I'll get one epic with that money, and it will not make that much of a difference. But what you should do is upgrade every single day your talents for free. Every single day on each character you are going to get a free reroll, and you will want to use that reroll. I explain it how to most optimally use the free reroll you get every day on the talents, on the how to upgrade your talents, how to change your talents guide, and I will link down in the description. But as you can see, I reroll my talents on every single character in my roster. You don't really need to reroll them on every single character. You'll need to reroll them only on characters that you know you'll use. But if you are a new player, you will most likely not know what characters are good to use and what characters are not good to use, and you should reroll them on every single character in your collection. Let's give you an example. I know what characters I'm going to use and I know what characters are good, but I'm going to reroll them on every single character in my account, because it's just kind of a challenge to myself to see how fast I can get threat in a free-to-play account. And for example, I even reroll every day on this guy. As you can see, the reroll is used. He's got already an epic lethal chance, but I keep rerolling. I'm most likely not going to use this guy never ever, but I still do it. So if I do this for all the characters in the roster, if your account is low level, you'll probably have even less. So you can definitely do this, because it's going to save you a lot of money in the future. And by doing this thing, I was able to get pretty good talents on a lot of characters. I have not spent a single credit in order to refresh talents on this account. And I have gotten on a lot of characters pretty decent results so far. Again, if you want to know how to refresh talents with your free reroll in the most optimal way, you should go ahead and check out my how to reroll talents guide. That will be down in the description. So now that we got this out of the way, let's move to the next part. The next thing that we are going to talk about is how to upgrade your abilities. And this is pretty simple. You will need to upgrade only the abilities that you know that you are going to use. For example, I got here King of Atlantis Aquaman, and I know for the most part I'm going to use his special tree. Of course, I have upgraded his passives, because upgrading his passives is very important for any character that you use. The passive should be the first thing you upgrade, and after that I'm only going to upgrade the special tree, because this is going to be the most used ability. Maybe in the future, in the very far future, maybe after 1 year of playing this game, I will move into upgrading his special 2 as well, because his special 2 will mostly be used in the raids 2 times per fight, and in the arena not really often. So it will be a waste of credits to upgrade an ability that I'm using so rarely. Also, the same goes for his first ability. And yes, a fully maxed out King of Atlantis Aquaman should have all his abilities upgraded, but that is a very long process and it will take time, so you need to be patient with it. So for now, since my founds are limited, I'm only going to upgrade the ability that I'm going to use the most on him, and this will be his special tree. Now, let's move to another character. Black Adam is a different example. Look, for example, on Black Adam, I know I'm going to use 2 abilities. Stormcloud was just upgraded for testing purposes, but I have come to the conclusion that I will not really use it for a long time. And for now, I'm just using his special 1 and his special 3. And those really need upgrading, because by upgrading it, you also increase the chance of that ability for Black Adam to proc his effect. So by increasing the level of this ability, I increase the chance to steer power bars, and by increasing the level of this ability, I increase the chance to reduce the cost for the abilities for him and his teammates. So he really needs those upgrades. Those are the only 2 abilities that I'm going to use for him, and those are the only one that I have upgraded. Another example, we have Black Lightning. He is going to be my main damage dealer in the multiverse team that you might have seen me used in some arena footage on this account. And the only ability I'm using on him is going to be his third ability, because it has high damage and is going to be armor piercing. And I'm only gradually upgrading this. The other 2 abilities I'm not going to use, so I have no reason to upgrade. And when it comes to his passive, this is going to increase the amount of health regenerated by power bar that's drained from the team, but this almost never happens, and I have simply not was able to get myself to really invest money in this, since it's going to happen very rarely, but this is not the point, and you should most of the time upgrade this passive as well. Okay, let's see another example. With the Batmans, where is the Silver Batman? With this character, I am only going to use his second ability. I don't know why I put 2 levels in the first ability, that was most likely a mistake. But with this Batman, the only ability that I'm going to use for arena at the very least is going to be Stun Bomb. And I'm only going to upgrade that. Maybe if I want to in the far future, after I have built him, want to use his third ability for raids, then I will upgrade it, but for now I don't need it, and I'm only going to use his second ability, and I'm also going to make use of his passive. So there's absolutely no reason to me to upgrade his abilities further than I need them to. So first ability will stay at level 2, and third ability will stay at level 1. So this is basically how you upgrade your abilities. For every team you will need to have one ability on one character upgraded most of the time. For example, the multiverse team. My multiverse team is going to be comprised of Black Lightning, Captain Cold, and Multiverse the Flash. Let's look at my Multiverse the Flash. He's got his passive upgraded, but all his abilities are going to be at level 1, because I almost never use his abilities. So putting points into his abilities is going to simply be a waste of credits. So this is how you should upgrade your ability. First of all, identify what ability is performing best and what ability you are going to be using most often, and then go ahead and upgrade only that. Most of the time you will need to have one ability upgraded per team that you use in Arena, or maybe two abilities for a character, or maybe one ability for a character and one ability for another. But in no way should you max all the abilities for a character, because that is going to be a waste of your credits. And the last thing that we're going to talk about before we get into the upgrading gears, because that is going to take more time and be a little bit more complicated, we're going to quickly take a look at the increase XP button. And as you can see, you got here the shards, and those are for different classes. The bonus of the shards that give additional XP for that specific class is not terribly big, but you should nevertheless use them accordingly, since as a new player you want to take every single advantage that you can get. So, for example, I want to level up King Altan's Aquaman. I'm going to use all the might XP capsules that I have, and because he's one of the main characters I used, I can use also the generic ones. This is not going to be enough to be able to level him up, but that's besides the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that when you're upgrading the XP for a character, focus on your damage dealers first of all, and secondly, use your general ones only on characters that are going to be used very often, and maybe raid characters like at Godmark King Altan's Aquaman. And for every team, you don't really need to focus on having different classes damage dealers on every team, but this is helping me, since when I have might capsules, I put them in King Altan's Aquaman. When I have arcane capsules, I use them on Black Adam. When I have meta-human capsules, I put them on Black Lightning. When I have tech capsules, I put them on Predator Batman. So this is the most optimal way to use your XP capsules, though you shouldn't really worry about this, since the more you play, the more levels your characters will get, and they will be gradually leveled up. You don't need to rush any characters to high level. That is going to help, but that's not the biggest priority for you. Now getting into the big part of this video, and maybe the most controversial part of this video, and we are going to look at how to upgrade your gears gradually. So, for the first month of playing the game, I don't recommend you go above level 20 gears on any character. And you will do your best to upgrade as many characters at level 20 gears in order to make at least 5 arena teams with all the characters that you have at level 20 gears. And I have done that. Black Lightning has all the gears at level 20 except for this 55 gear, but I did not level this gear up myself. It was dropped from raids, so that one doesn't count. If you get dropped from raids, it's amazing, of course use them, but if not, only go all the way to level 20, and I'll elaborate on that later. Captain Cold, again dropped the gear from raids on him, but the rest are all the way to level 20 only. And he's performing amazingly for me even with level 20 gears. Next character, Multiverse the Flash, not a good example because I got 1 drop from raids and 2 drop from the challenge with the Multiverse challenge, and I haven't worked on him because I don't have all the gears. Predator Batman has all the gears to level 20 except that raid drop, and 1 gear to level 21. I don't quite remember why I did that. I think it was by mistake. Justice League Aquaman yet again has all the gears that I have leveled up myself to level 20 and 2 raid drops at level 50. A character that is going to have all the gears at level 20, it will do more than good enough for you in order to get decent points in the arena. And now let's get into the mathematics of it and why I recommend only going to level 20 at the beginning of your account. So, in order to upgrade the gear all the way to level 20, and those informations are going to be taken from a Reddit post that I'm going to link down below. All credits to the person who has made it. Please go ahead and upvote it. So, in order to go with your gears to level 20, you will need 6,820 materials to get 1 gear to level 20. And do you know how many materials you need to get 1 gear to level 40? Do you think it's 2 times more? 3 times more? 4 times more? No, it's going to be it's going to be 50,000 materials in order to get a gear to level 40. So to get it to level 20 is going to be 6,800 materials, and all the way to level 40, 5,000 materials. If we subtract the amount of gears that you are going to, of materials that you're going to need to get a gear to level 20, we are left with roughly 43,000 gears. So with 43,000 materials that you are left, you are going to be able to get about 6 other characters at level 20 gears. So you have a choice between getting 6 characters at level 20 gears and getting 1 character from level 20 to level 40 gears. And in terms of arena, I think that option is going to be pretty obvious, because as I have said in many videos, you need to have at least 5 arena teams in order to be able to easily compete with other players and to be able to have enough teams to get all the way to Elite 4. So in order to progress most optimally, I suggest that the first thing you do once you get into the game and you get a decent amount of characters is get yourself 4 or 5 teams with all the characters in those teams all the way to level 20 gears. Because compared to getting a character to level 40 gears, that is going to be extremely cheap and extremely optimal. And only after that you can think to have a character all the way to level 40 gears. And the first character that you get to level 40 gears, I suggest is going to be King Lotan's Aquaman, because if you start getting him early from the League Store, and he's the first character that you should get from the League Store, by the time you have unlocked him, you should have saved up enough materials to get him to level 40, and before saving up you should have gotten 4 to 5 teams with all the members at level 20 gears. So, by the time you have unlocked this guy, you should have most optimally 4 to 5 arena teams that are all the way to level 20 and enough materials gathered to get this guy all the way to level 40. It doesn't have to be this guy, it is most optimal to be this guy, but as a general rule of thought, before you think of moving any character to level 40 gears, think about if you have any character, if you have enough characters in your roster at level 20. And by enough characters, yet again, I mean 4 to 5 teams. A team is comprised of 3 characters, so that means 12 to 15 characters in your roster will need to be at level 20 before you even think about getting a character to level 40. And I haven't gotten to that point with my account, but I will eventually get to. The next logical thing to do is going to be to gradually get your characters all the way to level 40 again. You will need this time, I suggest you go up with 3 to 4 full teams all the way to level 40. And that way you will again gradually increase the potential of your account in terms of both raids and arena. In order to get to level 40, as I have said, the cost will be roughly 50,000. And why get to level 40 instead of rushing your character to level 60? Well, because in order to get to level 40, you will require, as I have said, 50,000 resources. In order to get to level 50, you will require 169,220 gear materials. And this is a more easy calculation, so roughly, instead of going all the way to level 60 from 40, you could get 2 other characters from level 0 to level 40. So it is much more optimal to have, first of all, a decent number of characters that are upgraded all the way to level 40 gears before you move any characters to level 60. And as I have expressed in my other videos, I don't agree with getting any character to level 70 because the cost of doing that is going to be simply absurd. I'm not going to talk about it again. If you want to get characters to level 70 gears, then you are on your own. And the last thing, now that we have established how to level up your characters, in what order, yet again, first of all you will need to have 5 5 to 4 teams at level 20 before you get any character to level 40, and after that you'll need to have 3 to 4 teams all the way to level 40 before you can think of getting any character to level 60. And by that time I think you have had figured out enough of the game in order to make decisions for yourself, but until then I suggest you follow those guidelines. So now let's talk about what characters to upgrade first and what to prioritize. First of all, you'll need to upgrade your damage dealers, of course. So for me, the first character at level 40 was of course King of Clans Aquaman, and most likely the second character at level 40 will be Black Adam, because he is my main damage dealer for Arena, and King of Clans Aquaman is my main damage dealer for raids. I use both of them in both raids in Arena, but simply one performs better in one game mode and the other performs better in the other game mode. After I have done those two, I will most likely, if I don't get any other characters until that point, get Black Lightning at level 40 gears, because he's another one of my damage dealers. And keep going like that until I have leveled up all the damage dealers that I'm using to level 40 from 20. After that, I'm going to focus on the tank characters that I have, for example, Armored Superman. As you can see, I also have Armored Superman to level 20, except the gear that I dropped from the raids. And after I'm done with all my damage dealers, I'm going to work on all the tanky characters that I'm using. After I'm done with the tank characters, I'm going to move over and upgrade the support characters last. And by support characters, I mean Power Girl or things like that, but I'm only going to upgrade support characters that I can use as combo builders too, for example. There are characters that I have no reason to upgrade even though I'm using. For example, Emerald Green Lantern is going to most likely stay at this level of gears, since I'm using him as a support character in the Batman team and he sees close to no action. Even though he's a good character, I have chosen not to build him because I'm not using him that much. Another character that I'm not going to build for now is going to be Justice League the Flash, since I don't have all gears. So of course, if you don't have a full gear set, don't bother building that character until you get the full gear set. Horrific Scarecrow I'm not going to build, even though I already got 3 level 50 gears from raids, because he's also a support character that I don't really like as a combo builder. Power Girl I'm most likely going to eventually get to level 40 with her, because I like her combos and I can use her as a combo builder. And this list can go on and on, but I hope you got the gist of it. So, let's repeat everything from the front to the back. First of all, get 4 to 5 teams at level 20 gears. After that, get a damage dealer for raids at level 40 gears. After that, get all your damage dealers at level 40 gears, followed by your tank characters. And this, in my opinion, is going to be the most optimal way to upgrade your roster in order to perform well in both arena and raids. Oh my god, for this part of the video I've been talking for 11 minutes straight. My head is getting dizzy. So guys, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and comment down below for any questions that you might have. And I'm going to take a break. I'll see you in the next one.